Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic:
what major scientific breakthrough is actually closer to happening than most people think? Regenerative teeth and regenerative gums. I had a gum graft last year and they had to extract tissue from the roof of my mouth for one tooth, but for the other teeth they were able to use this product Kerecis, which is derived from Atlantic cod skin. I'm part fish woman now, but the product helps recruit my own gum cells and convert into living gum tissue over time. Parkinson's. They just published results of taking stem cells, turning them into neurons, and injecting them. They did a small amount just to see if the neurons survived, but not only did they survive, but some patients stopped getting worse and some had reduced tremors. The results are promising enough that it's believed it could end up being a cure. I would love to get Michael J. Fox back. I would love to get my mother back. Parkinson is so shit, an inevitable decline that you actively experience. My mom was diagnosed 2 years ago. This is also my prayer, hope, wish. Curing type 1 diabetes, https://www.uu.se/n/news/2025/2025-04-07-major-advances-in-the-type-1-diabetes. This is what I was going to say. Specifically, mRNA medicine has the potential to cure many conditions and diseases that are currently lifelong. Provided by government-funded research at our world-class academic institutions. No, wait, there will be so many conservatives still having their feet cut off because propaganda has them terrified of mRNA anything. I hope it's an artificial pancreas. Type 1 is a bit shit. Great news, there's a certain poetry of these two comments being directly next to each other. Dude, I just wanna know why I have endometriosis. Can't tell you that, but they did conduct a study to see if women with endometriosis were more attractive than those without. I'm not even kidding. Edit to add, it's a now retracted study, but you can Google and read the results. Attractiveness of women with rectovaginal endometriosis, a case control study. Paolo Virtullini et al. Fertile Sterile, 2013 Jan. Oh my god, it's true. This is actually insane. Barely any studies are done to cure or help a painful and debilitating disease, but studies can be done to see if the doctors perceive women with the disease as more or less attractive. What a fucking parody of life this is. Yay, missing half of high school from debilitating pain was totally worth it now that I'm an 8. In order to get there they would have to spend as much money on studying women's ailments. So frustrating. Another $1 trillion into ed and male pattern baldness research. Fuck women, we can just manifest our diseases to go away. Astronomer here. Here's a wild one. We might have a new planet in our solar system, like a legit planet, over 4x the mass of Earth, by the end of the year. Have you ever heard of Planet 9, the hypothetical planet out beyond Pluto? Finding it is really hard due to it being so well beyond all the other planets and being very faint, but last week I was at a talk by Mike Brown, the astronomer who proposed it, and also who killed Pluto. In October, though, the Rubin Observatory is supposed to start operations, which is going to take images of the entire sky every night with an 8-meter telescope. According to Mike, if that turn-on actually happens in October, we should find Planet 9 by mid-December. Most likely thing is that start date slips a little, but how cool is that? Exclamation mark. Twist, it's just Pluto, who's been bulking up and now wants payback. It's tilde Britney tilde Pluto, bitch. I don't understand how we are capable of identifying objects hundreds of light years away, but aren't certain whether or not a 9th planet in our solar system exists. Edit, thanks everyone who answered. The 9th planet is dark. The things we observe are bright, or dark but pass in front of bright things. The objects we detect far away are usually stars, which are really big and really bright, galaxies, which are further away but ridiculously big and ridiculously bright, black holes, which are the opposite of bright but have a massive gravitational effect on everything around them so we can predict their position, or finally exoplanets, which we only find through convenience, such as them flying in front of a star and dimming it. A planet in the solar system may be big with respect to our planet, but it's still minuscule compared to a star, has a tiny amount of solar radiation to reflect, and is thus incredibly faint. As an example, try to find Neptune in the night sky. Spoiler, without a good telescope, you can't. The only way we find a planet in the solar system is by studying discrepancies in the gravitational effects we observe, and these are complicated by the Sun overwhelming every other gravitational effect, and then Jupiter dwarfing everything else as well. TLDR, planets aren't bright nor is their effect significant enough to notice. We need to predict their position to have any chance of seeing them. My parents are close friends with a couple of doctors, and my GF has diabetes type 1. The doctors keep claiming that there is a breakthrough in treatment of type 1 around the corner. Just like 5 more years or something. On the other hand, in the Type 1 subreddit, "in 5 years there will be a cure" is a running joke because people have been telling that for about 40 years now. So I'm not very optimistic tbh. Just like 5 more years or something. Unfortunately, our tale is old as time. Once human testing has been done and is consistently successful, I'll get excited. With the state of things currently, I don't think we're far off from watering our plants with Brawndo. Electrolytes, it's got what plants crave. Water, like from the toilet. I never seen any plants growing from the toilet. I was hoping someone would say Alzheimer's cure. If you can catch it early, there is a drug that is about to be approved in Europe that basically stops Alzheimer's in its tracks. It is a small molecule, very few side effects. The name of the drug is blarcamesine. There are going to be a lot of very rich investors. Question related to this. Is there any progress toward detecting before symptoms manifest? My recollection is that brain loss occurs well before symptoms emerge. Essentially that as an Alzheimer's patient has brain loss early, other parts of the brain work overdrive to make up for it, therefore suppressing symptoms externally. Once you start to see symptoms, there has been massive brain loss that is irreversible. And the disease will likely run its typical course, even with some type of drug intervention. One of the professors at the university I work at, in the USA, was doing trials with a drug that could hinder brain loss and had essentially zero side effects. Even in trials, he said that if you started taking the drug after symptoms are showing, it would probably be too late to cure that individual, it would just delay further brain loss. However, they could use genetic markers to determine your risk factor for Alzheimer's at a younger age, and therefore you could take this drug as a preventative measure once you hit the age where brain loss would typically start. Essentially, you would treat yourself for Alzheimer's without even knowing if you have it. Anyway, would just be interested in what you know about this research. It is a fascinating field of study, even if my knowledge base is relatively small. Biotech-based aging reversal. Scientists are already reprogramming cells to act younger, and early tests in animals show real promise. It's not full-on immortality, but slowing or even reversing aging at the cellular level is way closer than most people realize, maybe decades, not centuries. Can we have renewable teeth before that, pretty please? I'm horrified about how much I will have to spend in the recent near future to fix my rotting teeth. It would be a lot more convenient to just grow new ones. Interestingly, they are currently in clinical trials for new teeth. They will grow them then implant them. I suspect that cancer and dementia in their various forms will be what kills most people. Great, we'll have billionaires living until they're 200 years old. The only comfort I have left in the world is knowing that they're going to die soon. And they're going to take even that away from me. Wasn't there a show on Netflix about this? Pretty good, forget the name. Was literally this though, altered carbon maybe. Yeah, this isn't good news for most people. Extended living will simply allow the powerful to gain more power and money. Oh great, so you're telling me billionaires will live for centuries while the rest of us continue to die off normally? Awesome. No, we'll die off much more quickly because of the ruined climate. But they'll keep taking recreational trips to space until they can completely abandon a ruined planet. mRNA tech may give us cures to over a dozen illnesses, including several cancers, HIV, type 1 diabetes, and chronic gastric diseases, Crohn's especially. Edit, I have been educated that mRNA is not likely to be used to cure HIV. Oops, but here's to hope that they cure it soon, clinking glasses. Also, a selfish interest of mine, an effective way to cure food allergies. Selfish one of mine, I'd like to be able to eat gluten again, and not have to read every single label and ask 100 questions before I can eat some food. From personal experience as of late, I really hope it's reversing stuff like dementia and Alzheimer's. A new treatment for Alzheimer's just got approved in the EU that slows the progression of the disease by about 30%. TBH, slowing progression sounds great until you remember, that really no one gets diagnosed until after there are defects severe enough to have a big impact on daily life. Not just, I had to remind mom that she already washed those dishes, but, oh no, mom gave her bank info to a scammer because she really believed he was Hugh Jackman, and also I think she hasn't washed the clothes she's wearing since the last time I saw her. That is, the point at which I personally will not want to live the remaining 7 years, which are the average after diagnosis. Lab-grown organs, in a decade organs donor waitlists might be as outdated as dial-up internet eyes. Sad year for the organ traffickers, disappointed. But a new era for cannibals, I guess. The breakthrough is here, we're just not using it to its full capacity. Gene editing like CRISPR is completely revolutionary to the human race. It also causes unwanted DNA damage, randomly, in other regions of the genome, which would likely contribute to cancer if used regularly in humans. Scientists don't normally spot these side modifications unless they sequence the whole genome and assemble the sequences into a contiguous map before and after treatment. Better CRISPR proteins with fewer side modifications are being developed though. Genome sequencing and assembly is getting cheaper and easier too, particularly with nanopore sequencing. Then there are the ethical implications of human genetic engineering, like choosing your child's skin color. Oh, I'm going for aqua. Then there are the ethical implications of human genetic engineering. Everyone should watch Gattaca. As someone working in renewable energy, I can tell you that solid-state batteries are right around the corner. We're talking phones that charge in minutes and last for days, electric cars with double the range. You know, they'll just use it to make a thinner phone that still needs to charge every day.